What is up?
Yo, yo, yo.
How we doing tonight? What's good?
We doing excelente.
That was close. It was a close call.
Nah, had it all the way.
I cannot find my chat.
Chat, come out wherever you are.
Chat, you there?
I don't know. It just completely refreshed on me. I don't know who's here. Well, if
Hello
you're
to
watching,
everybody
how's
here.
it going, everybody?
Hello, everybody. I see there's 12 watching right now, so.
All right. Let's see here. Bada bing, bada boom. Move that over here. We're good now. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to another episode of the Dudes and Belts Reignited Post Show here on YouTube. I am your host, Johnny Deathdrop, as always, and man, what an ignition you just saw moments ago. What a main event, huh?
Yeah, dude, Ignition's just been straight fire week in and week out.
All right, before we get into everything that happened this evening, let's introduce the panel as we always do. On the left, he is the one that lives way up there on the east coast of Maine. He is the inventor of the Beacon of the Week. He is the pickiest of pickle eaters as well, the one and only Coastal Crusader.
Hello, everybody, and good evening. There was a theme to tonight's Ignition, and it was challengers giving the champs a run, and we will talk about 3 matches that really jumped off paper at me.
And on the right, he is your resident masshole himself. He is the ultimate tolerator of pineapples, and especially pineapples on pizza, the one and only Marky Pins.
That was far better. I'll take that. Yes, we're great Ignition tonight. So much good stuff going on. Awesome main event. A lot of implications going forward, and we were not disappointed. Fantastic match. We got a lot of show to get to here, boys.
Yes, we do. And let's not waste any more time. Let's get right into the nitty-gritty, shall we? Before we get into everything, of course, if you guys are watching, please, if you be so kind as to drop a like on the video, leave a comment below the VOD, and make sure that you ring that notification bell after you subscribe to the Rocky Mountain Pro channel if you haven't already. What was that, Marky?
Johnny, ring the bell. Ring the bell.
So you guys don't miss any Dudes and Belts live show or Charged episode or Ignition show that we have during the week, including our Sunday show with the Rocky Mountain Rewind and any other uploads that happen throughout the course of the week, which they do happen over the course of the week, let me tell you.
Lots.
I
like ringing the bell.
I'm sure you do. You've gotten to a habit of doing that, so.
I have. It's part of the job.
Yes,
it comes with the territory. It's one of the things.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, to kick off Ignition tonight, we had Cushman coming off a very good match against the #1 contender for the Charge Championship, Briscoe Crown. He goes up against your reigning Rocky Mountain Pro Heavyweight Champion, David Drake.
Yeah, this is where the theme for to me tonight started, and it was not necessarily challenging for the title, but people going against champions, really giving them everything they got. Cushman, as we talked about, coming off an amazing match the other night, really doesn't back down from Drake, even in the beginning. He absolutely just takes him as he would any other challenger. And I say good for Cushman. He didn't seem like he was intimidated. He seemed like he was in a good place, which for Cushman, who knows where that is. But I was very much impressed.
It was up there. It was up there.
It was up there. And unfortunately for him, he couldn't stay up there the whole time because, as we'll see, yes, the theme was the people going against the champions, giving them quite a run. It was the champions showing why they are exactly that. He remembers that he is an all-powerful demon. Excuse me. And he absolutely just decides to take matters into his hands and win the match. And that's what he does. And that's what Drake does. He actually seemed like he was annoyed he had to try that hard against Cushman. So
yeah, I saw that same thing.
Is a moral victory for Cushman in this almost as good against Drake as an actual victory if it's non-title?
You know, to a certain extent, you got to look at Cushman. You got to look at the match he had against Briscoe Crown, who has been another freight train of momentum in RMP as of late. And then he has a really good match with David Drake. He came out storming, no intimidation. He just brought his game to David Drake. He gets the slam, he gets the champ off his feet early. And you're right, David looked like he had some frustration on the face, didn't he? It was just in there. He went to his happy place, which is the rest of our nightmares, but he went to his own happy place later in the match and got his, way out of it in the end, ends up getting them all. But at the same point, Cushman brought a match to David Drake tonight. And good for Cushman, man. Is it a little bit of a moral victory? Yeah, I think it really is for Cushman, even though he was pretty well annihilated by the champ tonight. It is a couple losses against the number one contender and then against the champion. However, you've brought some of your best fight that we've seen in RMP against high stakes opponents. Kush, good job, dude. Good job.
All right, you really can't complain about Cushman's performance over the past couple of matches, that's for sure. And I believe Lucas said it on commentary too, that he has vastly improved over the past month or two. And I think it's very noticeable in the past few contests that he's been in. All right.
He's been blazing fire last couple matches.
He really has. All right.
He's been blazing it, man. I tell you that.
Or as Marky said, he's a smoke show.
He's an absolute smoke show lately. Yes. The puns were heavy in chat. Everybody was thinking of a new one, and absolutely, Cushman has been a smoke show lately. Good for the kid. Hopefully, he translates into some wins coming forward, but not against David Drake.
Well, speaking of momentum, our next match here had a lot of implications involved. We had Sergey going up against your number one contender for the Charge Championship, Briscoe Crown.
And Sergey came out wrestling. He came out and brought some grappling, tried to slow Briscoe Crown down. There's an obvious speed advantage for Briscoe here, and there's an obvious size advantage for Sergey. And Sergey really putting the pieces together and looking good, wrestling a solid match against a faster and much more experienced opponent. Let's face it. Briscoe Crown with that number one contendership in his pocket. That's a lot of confidence moving forward, man. I don't think he took Sergey lightly at all in this match. I think this is Sergey just really hitting the ropes, hanging and banging, and really starting to bring far better matches to the table, and he does tonight against Briscoe Crown. Sergey still ends up looking good in the match. He dodges a huge frog splash at the end. Briscoe almost hit the roof of the win. Kind of a gnarly landing. I hope he was all right with that. But then Briscoe ends up getting the crowning achievement for the win at the very end. And this would have been huge for Sergey as well, because Sergey had 4 points going into this match. He was the sole member of the roster that was sitting at 4, was 1 win away. And now with this win, Briscoe Crown, although the number one contender for the Charge Championship, also upped his standings to 3 points. So Sergey drops and Briscoe elevates both to 3. There was a huge logjam to 3. We're going to get to it at the end when we do the synopsis of the whole point standings. But I got to say, Coastal, this was a much better match than you might have given it credit for on paper or looking at, especially with the way Briscoe has been wrestling lately. This is Sergey bringing a top quality match to a top quality opponent.
You know, Sergey has been taking notes on what he's been doing wrong. We noticed he went to the top rope tonight, but he went down to the second rope because he's learning from past mistakes. He's taking things more serious now. He came out with some Sergey security tonight, just to make sure that he was okay.
That was awesome.
I'm pretty sure they might be, as I said in chat, I've heard that he is starting the Sergey Pro Wrestling Dojo in Moscow. So that's probably some of his new, his acolytes from out there. But no, he did great. He started that very Antonio Inoki beginning with the butt crawl on the floor, really. And I'm like, okay, he figured out being up high is not good. So maybe he can be way down low. I think Sergey just needs to find his style. He's doing very well at winning matches sometimes, but never really with his own signature style. I think that is what he's always striven for. And I created a word there, striven. That's a new one.
I think that's a new word. Yeah.
Congratulations, sir.
Yeah. Okay, we'll add that one to the Coastal Dictionary. But anyways, Sergey showed me a lot tonight of how he is looking to improve and go forward. We often laugh sometimes when Sergey comes out. He does some goofy things. But I think, all in all, he really is serious about this. And Briscoe Crown, what more can you say? It's no longer a surprise to see Briscoe wrestle a great match. We expect it now. He is on a different level than he was even 8 months ago, let alone a year and a half ago. He is elevated and ready to move to that next level. CBD needs to be very, very careful.
What would have your guys' reaction have been if Sergey was able to pull off the victory tonight?
I would have looked like Kevin Garnett in 2008. Anything is possible.
That's right. It would have taken a hell of a moment. And we've seen Sergey have some moments, but just wasn't to be tonight. Would have been cool to see him fighting for the champion. There would have been a very long road culminated with a match against the champion who, man, even we talk about momentum. This is up in the whole Ignition roster is what Zamore's been riding lately. But yeah, not to be this evening. But Sergey's still very much in the mix of things, and now so is in Briscoe. A lot going on at the top of the standings.
It'll be very interesting to go over the standings tonight because, as you said, Marky, it seems like there is quite a bit of a log jam up there near the top.
It's a wicked jammer. We'll get to it later.
All right. Moving on, we have some Lockettes action for you this evening as well. We had Noel Summit going up against your number one contender, and I think we're going to be saying this quite a bit over the next few weeks. Your number one contender for the Lockettes Championship, Adrian Mascara.
Who, if we talk about being on rolls, hello, no one's been on a bigger roll than Adrian Mascara has lately. She just does nothing but win. She's got a number one contender spot. Now she comes out tonight against Noelle and does what she does best. Wrestles solid, competitive, and very much her pace. Noelle comes out very fiery, which she has done a lot lately. She has a lot of pent-up rage and aggression about something. Her whole world has come crashing down. She thought that she had found what was going to work. She was winning matches. She had a family to support her. Now, be it the Addams family, but still, they were there to support her.
It's something.
Yeah, it's something, you know? And then that
You
all
just
went
compare
away.
the Asylum to the Addams family.
It's not that
Yeah.
dissimilar of a comparison. Dun-dun-dun-dun. It's a thing.
I get
I don't know.
I get a Cousin It vibe from Salem sometimes. And
Yeah, like Cousin It and Gomez, like mixed.
yeah,
Like that's
Cousin It with a haircut. That's Salem.
that's the thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
But anyways, you know, her whole world was there and tied up in that, and it came crashing down. And now she just seems like for the first 10 minutes, or you know, the first section of a match, she is just getting out all that frustration. She's done a great job at staying aggressive, but I don't know if now she understands what can she do to close a match. Adrian Mascara, on the other hand, does not have that issue, and I think Noelle is trying to remember who she is right now because Adrian almost took her head off with that kick. That was something we have seen lately that she uses, and this was a statement match. Lilith Grimm should be in the back going, This is. I have to be very careful because there are many ways that Adrian Mascara can win a match, Marky. We've seen that before. We always talk about what she's doing so great, how she's come up so fast, what's something that maybe she should look at and say, okay, this could be my weak spot. This could be something that Lilith could exploit.
I think for Adrian at this point in time, against somebody like a Lilith, I think personally, and I could be very wrong because, Adrian and I have spoken with Lilith Grimm, but I'm not 100% with how long they've been trained. But I think Lilith Grimm is going to outlast Adrian. I think that's a great plan for Lilith right now. We see Adrian every time she gets in the ring, the minute she turns that volume up, that is her ticket to success. And I think Noelle even scouted that out too. She worked a slow, methodically paced match, just stick and move, stick it, just hard strikes with, the craziness effect added onto it as well. But Adrian outlasted that. I think right now Lilith is going to come in and know that she's going to probably be the one that hits harder, even though Adrian might be a little bit faster. Lilith also has the XP effect on her side. So Adrian is going to have to be able to prepare for the unexpected, That's the big one. And for Lilith Grimm, it's go time. It's bring it, because here comes the young one behind you that's looking. Now you're the target. You have the belt. And right now, Adrian is very, very hot. She has the smoke and the fire trails behind her of everywhere she's been. It's going to be a hell of a match. I think one thing Adrian's going to need to do, keep that pace going, keep it moving, keep that cardio working, and that's going to be her best chance for success against a Lilith Grimm. Do I think she can beat Lilith? Yes, I do. But do I think that Lilith can beat Adrian? Yes, very much I do. So there's a lot of dynamics, a lot of ins and outs coming into this match. This is going to be one of those matches that could very well steal the show at NRW.
I've heard that a lot. A lot of people.
There's so many good matches.
A lot of people are keeping their eyes on that Lockets and Charge Championship match specifically.
Yes. Yes.
All right. Moving on here. We have Mick Diamond in a one-on-one contest with Brew. And hopefully Mick Diamond still has a midsection after tonight's match.
Oh.
Well, I can tell you one thing. He came in with a plan, right? Like what he has now, I'm not really sure. Hopefully we can get some, health updates so we can get a wellness check on Mick Diamond real quick. He left a couple of his ribs in the ring. We got to go get a few of those fragments, but he had a plan. Try to keep the big man down, ground him down, squeeze his head with the headlock, man. He went back to the headlock,
Brew has head issues,
He does, and it's not like Mick's kicking him in the head or blunt force. No, he's trying to wear the big man down because Mick is the smaller man. Even though Mick's been bulking up and pumping up a little bit, Brew is still the bigger dude. But every time Brew gets a little space and a little power, pushes Mick off, then Mick's right back on top with the headlock, gets it back on and keeps locking it in. It's really frustrating Brew for the longest part of the match. And at one point, Brew just can't have this anymore. He's pushed Mick off and gotten a shoulder. He's pushed Mick off and he's gotten a clothesline, and Mick just keeps coming back. Finally, Brew says the hell with all of this and delivers the Buffalo Spear. Like the Buffalo Run of runs, it wasn't a spear.
It was a stampede.
It was the stampede of all the spears. Think of all the spears that you've ever seen come running in the form of many buffalo running across the plane and hitting the ring at the Wimmer and absolutely caving in Mick Diamond's chest plate. Best of luck to the kid. Great match from Bruce Statement to outlast the kid. The kid came in with a plan, but Bruce said it didn't matter, used his power. And we see that Bruce still there at the end. He checked on Mick. There was some respect at the end, but Brew looking good to outlast the kid with the plan.
I think Brew is looking good. It's been a while since we've seen Brew in action. I think he's taken some time away. I think he's getting focused again. The first time he went away was for an injury, and then he came back, and then he had to really focus on, okay, is this something I can continue to do? Now he knows it is something. So now the refocus is, okay, nothing's holding me back now. And we see that tonight. He got frustrated, but he kept his head, and he pretty much separated Mick Diamond in half at the waist. For Mick Diamond, number one, I'm sure he is regretting cutting some weight right now because he misses that little extra padding that he had for that spear. It wouldn't have hurt quite so bad. But for him,
get an update from anybody that might know in chat if he's okay.
Yeah, he folded like a soup.
And it came out of nowhere too, and it's not like Brew had a running start either.
Yeah,
did you hear it? But did you hear it?
Yeah, that's the crazy thing, though. He hit him from like 3 steps away. That wasn't like a full diagonal across the ring, line you up spear.
Like normally he gets 2-3 good running steps off the ropes or something like that. No, that was just like step and destroy.
Yeah. I think, as you said, Marky, that was a statement move. That was, I am focused now and I will end things whenever I want to. Brew put people on notice if you're paying attention tonight. And if you're not paying attention, there's a big angry buffalo coming for you.
And it shows that he's been putting in the work too, because typically when he does the spear, he's going, like you guys said, from corner to corner or from rope to rope. I mean, he just took 2 or 3 steps and just laid right into him. So he must have been putting in some work at the Al Snow Wrestling Academy to be able to kind of shorten everything and kind of make everything so much quicker. And it because you can tell that he's lost weight too, like he's starting to get more agile as well. So that move now, ladies and gentlemen, that can come out of a split second out of nowhere and hit
Yeah.
you with just as much force.
You know,
As you all heard.
Corrente's back, so everyone is doing more squats.
This is
That's
true.
fact. That's fact.
This is true. All right. We had some more Lockets action as well, as we had the Lockets champion in the house, Lilith Grimm, going up against Lola the Adventurer in the ongoing rivalry of Ignition between these two.
Yeah, I mean, we see this match. These two are very familiar with each other, but we never get sick of it because they always find new ways to try and test each other. And tonight, we can see Lola has really been working on her technical skills. She had a sleeper on tonight that I really thought was going to be very effective. You know, noticeably Lilith Grimm didn't really see that coming from Lola because that's something new from Lola. I know she used to use that backpack sleeper, but never on people the size of Lilith. And tonight she used it and it looked like it was very, very effective. With Lilith, this was another one of those where I have said the theme of the night was challenge accepted. Lola stepped up. The champ in this case, Lilith Grimm, stepped up further and said, this is why I win. She hit an absolute lariat of a clothesline and then it just takes her out with a suplex, and then the thick thighs take the Lilithine. Oh my God. Get those merch. You see her merch everywhere. Make sure to go pick up some Lilith Grimm merch because when she caves somebody's head into that ring, you're going to want a t-shirt that describes it.
It's very, very true. And, you know, it's honestly, Lola put up a hell of a fight to even get her to that point because Lilith had tried to lock that Lilithine 2-3 other times. And Lola was just resilient, wouldn't let it happen. You know, she fought herself out of a grapevine. She had a knee stretch to have Lilith with a big leg DDT. It was so very back and forth between these two. Every one of these matches.
Probably her best match in a while.
You know, Stone and Lucas Bradwell were talking about it on commentary that each of these two has had to you can't turn up the technical ability between the two of them because they both can answer each other's call in that moment. But they've each turned up the ferocity of the move, the actual, like, you know, their aggressive tendencies towards each other have done nothing but go up and up each week that they fight each other. You know, having to just hang loose and stay tough. And then if you're Lola, you just hit a desperation neck breaker out of nowhere just to get some oxygen. It takes a big neck breaker like that. These two have really been taking each other to the brink. Adrian Mascara, I'm sure, was sitting there watching, taking notes, but Lilith finally finishes it at the end with that leg lariat. Oh my God, with that clothesline, and then the Lilithine and rolling her over 1, 2, 3. Outstanding for the champion. So the number one contender and the champ get big W's tonight against their rivals now and future rivals out of Noelle and Lola. So fantastic Lockets action tonight.
And you got a couple more weeks left to fine tune what they got to do and create a game plan before NRW comes up.
That's what it is right now, Marky. For like tonight, we saw such a great. That's exactly what it is out of all these champions that have challenges and all the challenges. They're fine tuning. That's kind of the whole stepping up thing I was talking about earlier tonight. The theme. Everyone is just fine tuning for NRW. It's that important.
All right, moving on. We had your Ignition champion in action as he went on and took on Tengu, which we've seen sporadically over the past few months.
But now gets a shot at the Ignition champion,
And
not
boy,
for the title.
did he get him some tonight.
Yes, he absolutely did. I mean, good for the kid throwing himself right back out there. Last time we saw him in a match by himself, he was getting absolutely facified by Damon Ace.
I'm glad he's still smiling and has all his teeth in his nose and his eyes and most of his face.
If that mask is really Casanova's, I'm glad he still has the mask because that means Johnny running around crying somewhere about how he doesn't have his mask, so that's even better. So a lot of good things with Tengu making it back to the ring tonight, except for the result for him this evening. I mean, what do you want, man? You got Zamore out there kicking ass and taking names week in and week out, and he doesn't stop tonight. Starts out big with the big power. You know, if you're Tengu, you can't go out and try to wrestle Zamore. You can't even get within 3 feet of him because he'll grab you, pull you in, and eat you like a chicken wing. So you do not need to do this. You need to get in, get your licks, get out of there, get a couple shots in, try to take the big man down. But Zamore with the power early, the big splash, letting him Tengu know. Tengu kicking out with the fighting spirit, man. And that was his story tonight. He had that fighting spirit until it got to the point where Zamore just said no more. Tengu at the end of the match went for a springboard, kind of slipped off. But here is where Coastal, like you've been talking about tonight, where challengers throw in good matches, but the champion's saying no. And Zamore just picks up Tengu and Uranagi's him straight through the mat. It seemed like Zamore was just not so much touching up, but just going through, not even looking past Tengu, because you can't look past any opponent, but making sure he keeps to his game plan, respecting himself, doing things his way, and the things tend to work out. It sucks that Tengu had that little slip at the end of the match, but I'm willing to go out on a limb and say our Ignition champion was winning this match, whether he caught him off that springboard or if he picked him up and just planted him back down. Zamore looking good. Tengu with a little bit of ways to go. He needs to get, him and Sergey need to get on the same page, because if Sergey can come that far in that short of time, so can Tengu. But I'm telling you, man, Zamore looking fantastic. Lilith Grimm looking fantastic. David Drake winning tonight. It was a good night to be a champion tonight on Ignition.
It was a great night to be a champion, especially it's been a great 4 or 5 months to be Zamore. He is an 18-wheeler that is on top of a hill, and it's just going downhill as quick as it can. And I don't mean that in a bad way, because no one's stopping a big rig going downhill with no brakes, and that's what Zamore is right now. He is on a roll, and anybody that gets in his way, he runs over. And he's showing it week after week. I actually like the Tengu challenge tonight for Zamore. Gives him a different look. There aren't many people that he hasn't already faced that are, you know, his size. He's already faced a lot of the bigger guys for that title. Now it's like, okay, who's left? Curtis Cole, you know, guys that size, Briscoe Crown. These guys coming up, it's like, okay, what can I do to prepare? Tengu. It gives you a little bit, Tengu. Yeah. Well, you know, I don't want to say use Tengu as a training dummy, but that's kind of what Zamore did tonight. He took a lot of his shots. He figured, okay, what's somebody this size going to throw at me? And then when he was done, like a child sick of playing with his toy when he gets older, he threw him away, but he threw him through the mat and then pinned him. But at the end, he did, you know, make sure he was okay. And
there was much respect at the end. Zamore, a hell of a fighting champion, a good, respectful champion, a role model of a champion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, every week he's defending that title against anybody who steps up.
Mm-hmm.
He's also fine-tuning himself, because he also has a championship match against Curtis Cole at some point down the road. I don't know how long Curtis Cole is going to have that #1 contendership for, but...
Well, that's like I said, you know, you want to figure out how to beat a little gnat, annoying insect, you face Tengu.
Ouch. Anyways.
Oh, what? No, there's shirts about how I feel about Curtis Cole. Make sure to see Mr. Four throw at the merch stand and get your I Hate Curtis Cole t-shirt.
That is true.
Fact.
Moving on. Actually, I think Lucas was wearing it tonight on commentary.
He was. I was just going to say Lucas was wearing his I Hate Curtis Cole shirt.
All right.
I wish Cole was there to see that. That would have been nice. He deserves that.
Moving on to the main event of the evening. Also,
and it was a tag team match, player.
You must...
Nobody went one-on-one with The Undertaker.
But no, you must have been goozing enjoyment.
You created a word tonight now, too.
Goozing.
Goozing?
Goozing.
Is that like
no.
No.
That could come close to TOS.
We'll talk after.
Yeah.
What, goozing?
I thought you said doozing like it was a doozy, and I'm like, oh no, it was, and I'm like, is he talking about the doozers from Fraggle Rock? And then I'm like, no,
I'm not letting you have the only word that gets invented here on the show tonight. Okay? You can't outdo me, damn it. This is my show. All right.
That's why we can't have nice things.
No, I know. We can't
have nice things.
I'm just over here goozing. That's all, you know.
Yeah, you're goozing over everything that happened during this tag team match between Chopper City and La Isla. Coastal, you're a fan. You're a fan of the tag team match.
I am. I'm a fan of the tag team match. You know what I'm a fan of? Because there are great tag team matches in Rocky Mountain Pro. A lot of them have J.K. Pop in them. They all kind of end with some horse cockery, as one Bud Bellflower would say. Always. Yep. This had everything you wanted. It had intensity. It had eye impact. It had great tag team moves. It had everything. When you look up a tag team match, you want to watch something like this. Atiba and Boss coming up with, again, they're tuning up for their match against the Duke of Grapefruits. I mean, the Lemon Lords, or whatever we want to call them. It's Derek Stone's favorite tag team in the world. And he should take notes tonight for his friend, Lord Mitchell Taylor, and say, we got a problem because Boss and Atiba looked really, really good. They absolutely did. This is take nothing away from La Isla. Was there a little rust where they haven't had a tag team match in a long time? They've been doing a lot of singles stuff lately? Maybe. I'll tell you what, though. Echo out of the two has been a lot more successful with the singles run lately. But he took an incredible beating tonight. But every time he hit that tag, Balaam came in like he was launched out of a cannon. That boy hit so many high-impact moves off tags and just drop kicks and chops, and he looked like the Balaam that won the Colorado Cup back at, the t-shirt mark he has on, back at Milestone 11. Looked incredible. And then, unfortunately, we see what Atiba can do. And Atiba absolutely brings the ruckus, comes in. We do see Echo hit an incredible stomp to Atiba's back.
Goodness.
And he kind of...
That was
Boss, but he kind of fell off him. If you look at, he almost elbow drops his partner coming off of Boss.
It was a moment. Yes.
Yeah. And I'm going to say this slowly so we don't get any censorship issues. They hit the sucker buster at the end for the win.
I have my hand on the censor button just in case.
We got to be careful with that one. We got to be careful with that one.
Guys, I know you're laughing. Oh, it's just 2 words. Have you heard our accents? That's going to be a hard word to say real fast.
Yeah.
And we talk wicked fast, too, as we're talking, so that could get misconstrued.
Yeah. So anyways,
we'll have to put that in a disclaimer. The sucker buster will have to be in a weekly disclaimer somehow, some way.
We'll do it at the end of the show tonight.
It was just a great tag team match, and what a huge win for Chopper City going into NRW. And maybe, I don't know, I looked at the end, we did see some good respect at the end. Marky, I have a question. And I'm not saying that anybody should look happy when they lose, or they should even look content. Echo had a look on his face after this loss that was like, I can't do this losing stuff anymore. He just, to me, that's what it looked like, Marky.
I mean, he didn't factor in the decision. He got tossed out during the melee at the very, very end when Chopper City hit that sucker buster. Mm-hmm. But he did. I mean, why would you be happy if you lost a match? I can understand, Echo's frustration and stuff. He's got a lot going on. He's got a lot to look forward to right here. He gets reunited with Balaam Lynx against another premier tag team of 2 singles guys that have that unorthodox chemistry that you just don't find all the time between 2 just single superstars that we've seen out of Bruce Wayne's and Atiba, but they have that connection, that brotherhood connection, that same connection that Echo and Balaam had when they formed La Isla. There's these connections that get formed, and after having so much success for as long as La Isla did, to lose a match like this tonight, even though Chopper City are the number 1 contenders, it still kind of hurts. It still sucks. So, especially after hearing the talk about a lot of people in chat about La Isla being done and it's all done and everything else. So I can understand his frustration, but I'll tell you this much. The match was superb. The match was fantastic. Both teams really brought it. I have to say, though, from a perspective of the guy who was watching it, I think Chopper City had a little bit more in the tank tonight. They had a little bit more of the double team effects. They had a beautiful elbow drop splash combo from Atiba, and then right afterwards from Boss. I think Atiba dropped the splash and Boss dropped the big elbow. They got a near fall out of it, and then the sucker buster at the end. Like, the cohesion was just there, and I think it just happened to be that Chopper City was on top at the end. Re-roll that match 100 times. Do we see this match go 50-50? I think so. I think so. But right now, Chopper City, with all the momentum going into the championship match at NRW, makes sense how they win. They're on top at the end. They take all the punishment. You are right now. Man, I don't care what or with who. Balaam Lynx is one of the hottest tags in all of RMP. He comes in and he's just flying all over the place. The springboards, the double arm chop that he came down on Atiba's head with was beautiful. It was massive. So many things going on. So many good things happening in this ring. But your number one contender is standing strong and reigning supreme at the end.
Mark, you talked about it, though. Their cohesion. Chopper City is a unit right now.
Yes,
Let's
they
look
are.
across to the Duke of Grapefruits. When was the last time Lord Mitchell Taylor talked to Manny Lemons?
Dude,
we
he
know?
said 7 times he tried to leave voicemails for him the other night.
And they're going
That's
to
your
wrestle.
championship partner.
Yeah, Derek Stone has been around more than Manny Lemons has.
Factual.
I mean,
Yeah.
At this point, you got to wonder if you're Lord Mitchell Taylor. Just seeing what you saw there with Chopper City going, this is a damn handicap match.
Them Lemon Lords ain't going to keep up with that. They're not going to keep up with that. No way. Too much cohesion, too much drive. No way.
Atiba is going to zest Manny Lemons with those chops.
Ooh, that was good. I love it.
Let me take it back a couple steps here.
Zest.
We're going back to Coastal's question here about Echo and his frustration. You want to know why he's frustrated? Because he can't win the big one. Period. End of story.
You can say that.
He'll get on a run, and then he gets to the match, whether it's a number one contendership match or a big match in the event, he cannot win the big one. So that, in my opinion, I think is why Echo is getting very frustrated, because he gets close to these moments and he has these big opportunities and he has these big matches and he doesn't get the W, whether it's his fault or not, depending.
You're on to something there, Johnny, except with that little bit you said right there. That's where I disagree, and that's what I think he's frustrated with. Let's take a look at those big matches. He gets his Ignition Championship match. JK Pop screws him out of that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool. They win the tag titles. Finally. He gets screwed out of that by somebody else. Tonight he loses, and he's not factored in the decision. He couldn't do anything about it. I think he's sick of being helpless in these situations.
And I don't disagree with you there.
I think that's the frustration, is he's not controlling any of these losses, really.
And at the end of the day, unfortunately, there are L's in the book. But I do agree with you on that point, because there has been a few times as well. There's been times where he just flat out lost and the better man won. But there's been other times, like mainly with JK Pop recently, I think there's been a couple of Ignition opportunities for Echo, and both times JK Pop found a way to get themselves involved in the decision of that match.
Well, when they lost the title, it was the same thing. Balaam took the uppercut from the guy in the hoodie. Johnny doesn't know.
I heard he had weird small hands and smelt like cabbage.
Yeah, that guy. Yes. Yeah, that guy. And Echo didn't factor into that decision. And I think a lot of it reminded him of that tonight, even though there was no chicanery. It was totally legit. Again, he doesn't factor into that decision and his team loses. Can completely understand. However, you're a professional. Them is the breaks sometimes.
And he is. And I'm not going to say this to like degrade him or anything. I'm just telling everybody what the facts are. And that's just, he just hasn't been able to capitalize on the big moments and the big matches. Do I see him being the top dog in RMP, holding that RMP championship? Yeah.
I think he could, sure.
Do I see Balaam in the same position? He's already a former charge champion. This drought that he's on right now isn't going to last. I can tell you that right now. Do I see him holding the RMP championship down the line? Absolutely. I think both of these guys some way will be able to pick up their momentum and be able to start winning again. And then you're going to see what La Isla is all about. But right now, you just got to go by, what you're seeing, and you got to call it like it is. And what I'm seeing is frustration on Echo, and I'm guessing and assuming, analyzing from what I'm seeing, that he's frustrated because of all these big time matches. He's just getting L's, whether he's factored in the decision or not.
Makes sense.
Fair.
And it's understandable. And
A lot of facts in those statements. It's
and
true.
Mm-hmm.
Balaam in the same position as well. Right after Milestone, he had a charge championship opportunity. Literally the next charge afterwards.
Fact. Yeah.
And he lost that against CBD. You know what I mean? These two have a cohesion like not a lot of people have in RMP right now. I don't see this lasting. I do see both of these guys picking each other up down the line. Both these guys will become successful as a tag team and singles competitors as well. Just right now, they are just in that funk. Just like with Bossy after he lost the title.
I was just
True.
going to say the
Or
same kind of thing.
Or
then
Big Teams.
Atiba was in that
Yep.
same funk until
And
Casanova
look at
came
him
along
now.
and started this whole butterfly effect into motion.
And look at him
Basically.
now.
Yeah.
So, a lot to take from the main event. It was a good main event for sure. Chopper
straight.
City with the big W, gaining all the momentum, going against their tag team championship opportunity against the Lemon Lords, Lord Lemons, Zesty, whatever you want to call them, but
Duke's a grapefruit.
Duke's a grapefruit. Interesting. Okay. That's a new one. I got to write that down. Duke's a grapefruit.
The Dukes of the Citrus.
All
The
right.
Knights of the Citrus Table.
The Knights of the Citrus Table. There we go.
That's probably the one that they should have used from the very beginning. That's a good one.
That's the one.
That
That's
is the one.
The
That's
Knights
the
of
one.
the Citrus Table.
The Knights of the Citrus Table. Yes.
Manny Lemons and Lord Mitchell Taylor, if you watch this now or in the next couple days or so when it's up on the YouTube channel, make sure you tune into timestamp 45 minutes roughly, and you will come up with your actual tag team name. That's better than what you have.
And hi to the
Far
sheriff.
better.
Hi to the sheriff of Nottingham, wannabe Lord Mitchell Taylor. I know he's a huge fan of the Coastal Crusader.
All right. That's going to conclude tonight's Ignition that we saw. Great night all around. Great matches. Great performances throughout. Final thoughts on this episode before we get into our end game stuff, which is the point standings, speaking of the week, and everything we got to talk about going into NRW.
I think tonight, and I said it before, the whole theme of tonight was challengers stepping up, champions showing why they're champion. And if NRW is any indication of how separately we saw number one contenders and champions in separate matches battle, I can't imagine what it's going to be when they go 1-on-1 or 2-on-2, whatever it may be at NRW. Get your subscription, $9.99, tier 2, watch NRW. You will not be disappointed.
Absolutely not. So many things going on tonight's show. Coastal, you said it the best. It was a good night to be a champion. It was a good reason to show how and why you were a champion tonight. Every one of these people that hold gold had that opponent tonight that took them to a limit. Maybe not the limit, but each champion had to show why they are the champion tonight. And each one of them did. And our tag team match at the end, superb main event, awesome high flying. Ignition really is the A show. If you're not watching this every week, why not? You are missing out. You are missing out if you are not watching Ignition.
All right. Rocky Pins, floor is yours.
Yes, sir. Okay, so we're going to get back because we missed last week when everybody at RMP was at Top Taco. I saw some pictures. Go back and check out all the socials. Everybody had a good time, but we got right back to the business of the point standings tonight. And through everything that we had tonight, some ups, some downs, we have a couple ties. There's a lot going on here. So Curtis Cole's still with the 5 points. We all know he has, yeah, exactly. It's a formality at this point that I have to say.
He's got 5 brain
contractually.
cells, too.
So it matches. It's really not that far off, but I am contractually obliged. I have to say it. So you're new at the top of the list of the Ignition point standings. Your newest superstar is now the final boss himself, Bruce Waynes. With that victory in the tag team match, he and Atiba, Boss is now up at 4 points. We have a little logjam of 3 superstars at 3. Briscoe Crown in a winning effort. We have Johnny Casanova in a null effort. And we have Sergey in a losing effort. Are all at 3 points this evening. So Bossy at 4, those 3 at 3. Atiba also climbing his way up to 2. Kendrick LaRoe, 1 point along with Dalton McKenzie. We haven't seen Dalton on Ignition in a couple weeks, so we'll keep that there. But either way, then we get into some of the negatives. Panthro at 0, but Brew working his way back up to 0, which is good. He was -1 before the match, so he's back to par, or the Mendoza line, as they like to say. And Balaam Lynx and Echo losing a point each tonight. Mick Diamond and Cushman losing another point each tonight. Mick and Cushman tied at the bottom at -6. So a lot of standings going on up in the top, a lot of shuffling all the way from the top. But the final boss right now, 1 more point away from cashing in a ticket for his own Ignition Championship match. And we are going to see some of these matches and all these superstars every single week right here on the Rocky Mountain Pro channel at 6:15 Mountain Standard Time, or Mountain Daylight Time. It's daylight right now. 8:15 Eastern Time.
Hey, Marky, I just thought of something.
Yes, sir.
So, if it's the Mendoza line in wrestling, wouldn't it be the Horowitz line? Like the Barry Horowitz line?
I'll go with that. Can that be the term used to describe?
Just kind of
like
it's the Horowitz line. Yeah.
It's like getting a D in school. Like you passed, but your dad's still wicked mad at you.
One of my favorite movies ever. I got a D+. I'm gonna graduate.
It's Herbie Hancock.
Yeah.
All right. Coastal.
Yo.
Your turn.
It is time. Yes, for the shining beacon of the week. And this week's beacon of the week, I am going to go with, I'm a tag team guy, so I got to go with Chopper City. They looked incredible tonight. They are ready for this match coming up at NRW. We saw it on Tuesday night with Atiba and Bossy when they were talking. They're one again. Atiba's on the right path. You see it tonight. It's too much for me to look past. They are ready to go. Your beacon of the week this week is Chopper City. Sucker.
Buster. So the Massholes beacon of the week may surprise a few people. However, dude had a pretty good week, and I don't want to piss him off too much. My beacon of the week is David Drake. We saw how we put the absolute fear of God into Curtis Cole week in and week out. And I do believe he made Curtis Cole urinate on the outside of the ring on Tuesday night on Charged when the lights went red, and absolutely everything.
And he had a code brown
out of his wits. He definitely had a code brown. Maybe he peed on the inside and code brown on the outside. But then we see him tonight having to go to a little bag of tricks at the end, having a little trouble with Cushman, who brought the fight to him tonight. But at the end of the match, still the champion, still dominant. Massholes beacon of the week is David Drake.
I'm going to kind of go off of Coastal a little bit here, but not all the way. I'm going to have to go with Atiba as my beacon of the week. He came out on Tuesday night, defeated Lord Mitchell Taylor, one half of the tag team champions, and then he came back tonight with Bruce Waynes and Chopper City to take care of La Isla in the main event tonight. So Atiba is my beacon of the week.
Love it.
All
Love
right.
it.
Need to get like a foghorn for that.
And Atiba had to overcome getting hit with that foreign object that Mitchell's had in his. He got hit like 5-6 times through that match too, man. Getting hit in the chest and the neck.
Say what you want about Lord Mitchell Taylor, but he is crafty, especially when it comes to hiding some illegal items.
I can say what I want. All right, fine. Lord Mitchell Halis bringing the foreign object. Everybody, Lord Mitchell Halis brings the foreign objects. Keep your eyes on him. Refs, keep your eyes on him.
Yeah.
He's very good at getting between himself and the referee.
All right. Speaking of tag team champions and everything that's going on we are on the road and we're only a couple weeks away to NRW on August 3rd, ladies and gentlemen, here on YouTube and at the Wimmer in Denver, Colorado, or I should say Inglewood, Colorado.
Inglewood.
We do have, as of right now, 5 matches confirmed. As of right now, with more on the way. We'll run them down for you. Starting off with your tag team championship match, you will have the team that you saw tonight, Shopper City, going up against Lord Mitchell Taylor and Manny Lemons for those tag titles.
2 out of 3. The Knights of the Citrus Table.
Yes.
And
2 out of
also,
3.
we saw
2
both of
out of
these
3.
ladies tonight. We had Adria Mascara. She will be going up against the Lockett's champion, Lilith Grimm, at NRW as well.
I want to see what the stipulation is for this match, because every match has a stipulation in NRW.
Correct. And moving on here, we have the Charge Championship match on Charge Championship on the line here. Briscoe Crown, who you also saw tonight, he is the #1 contender to that championship as he goes up against CBD Carson Drake. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, your Rocky Mountain Pro Heavyweight Championship, Curtis Cole going up against David Drake. That one should be a very interesting match in itself. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, as announced actually on Recharge this past Tuesday, we will also have for the NRW Championship, the main event of the evening, we'll have Mercury Yaden going up against Damon Ace one last time in an endurance match. I just don't have the graphics, so I'm just going to say it right now. That one's going to be a barn burner, ladies and gentlemen. You don't want to miss it.
As the young kids say, that will slap.
Yeah, it's going to slap somebody's mouth in that match.
Hunter, you read my mind. I think an awesome stipulation for the Curtis Cole-David Drake match would be a body bag match. I think that's perfect. Very impartial.
And yes, it is the one night of the week, or not of the week, of the year, as a matter of fact, that the rules will be broken as this pay-per-view stands for No Rules Wrestling, which means that every match on this card will have a stipulation added to it. So it's going to be very interesting to see what a lot of these championship matches will have as their stipulation, because that could be the deciding factor in a lot of these matches.
We've seen it happen each time.
All right. Other than that, folks, next time we are live here on this channel will be on Sunday for the Rocky Mountain Rewind. We are going way back in time to the origins of Rocky Mountain Pro. Actually, back in the NRW days when it was New Revolution Wrestling. This Sunday, we will be watching the entire episode number 6 with you guys. So, and we will also have Lucas Bradwell with us as well, as we always do on Sunday. He is the encyclopedia for good reason.
He's great to have when we do the rewinds.
Absolutely.
He's filling us in all them little blanks that we may not know and haven't seen. He's filling all of this in. So it's great having almost like a narrator, like watching it and just kind of hearing that 2020 perspective of being there. It's good stuff.
Yeah, you got Lucas for your history lessons. You got Marky for your referee insights. And me, I'm just here.
No, you bring more than just here. You do so much.
Do you want to know what else you bring to the table, sir?
What's that, sir?
A disclaimer.
That is true. And ladies and gentlemen, the views and expressions of the Dudes and Belts Wrestling Chatcast and Reignited are those of Marky, Coastal, and Johnny. Every once in a while, we do have guests. We didn't have any tonight. But just remember, we do talk fast. So anything that you do hear that sounds a little weird, we could have said it, or it may be just how we say things. Yeah? All right. Have a great night, everyone.
No, sir.
Hey, yeah, that's a main word. We had the masshole, the massisms or whatever, the massholeisms, masshole of the day. A main one, yeah. That's a whole lot of stuff. That's yup, okay, sure, let's do it.
Hey, you.
Yeah. You want to go eat? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we're giving the chat some language lessons here from up here in the Northeast.
There's a whole separate dialect of English that we can speak, not make a word, but have a complete conversation.
Right. When you go into like, I don't want to say the Home Depot, but when you go into like your normal hardware store, some guy comes up to you and he goes, "Help you?" What that means is, "How's your day? How's your morning? My name is such and such. Look at my name tag. What can I do for you?" He said it all and just help you.
Help you.
Yeah. Help you.
Help you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for this evening. Thank you so much for everybody that's watching. Also, if you have yet to do so, please hit that like button and leave a comment below the VOD so you don't miss. Oh, wow. I completely went out of order there. So it helps us out with the algorithm here on YouTube. Also, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't and ring that notification bell.
Ring the bell.
So you don't miss a single upload or Rocky Mountain Pro Charge or Ignition show. And of course, you don't miss any live Dudes and Bells content that we do 3 times a week, sometimes 4, here on the YouTube channel. And yeah, that's all I got on that. Other than that, folks, we are wrapping everything up this evening. And yes, I am just about ready to announce our membership only live chat stream with RMP Talent within the next stream or 2. So make sure you stick around and keep your ears peeled for that, because I think it's going to be a banger of a show, and you definitely want to become some sort of member. And of course, make sure you join as a member for tier 2 at $9.99. Once you do that, you will be able to watch NRW live here on YouTube, and you will be able to watch every pay-per-view here on forward for as long as you hold that tier 2 membership at $9.99. And as well, you'll get the tier 1 perks, which comes with the badges and the emojis, and you'll be eligible for the membership only chat that I just mentioned with RMP Talent once a month. And
if it's Curtis Cole, I'm going to choose to have my colonoscopy that day. It sounds
No, he said it was going to be a banger and not completely, utterly waste our time and completely suck. No.
So make sure you keep your ears peeled for that for this month's show. Other than that, we're going to sign off for the evening. We thank you guys so much for watching. As always, for myself, Johnny Deathdrop, Coastal Crusader, and Marky Pins, we will see you guys on Sunday for another episode of the Rocky Mountain Rewind presented by the Dudes and Belts. As always, folks, stay safe, stay classy, and we will see you on Sunday. Later, folks.
If we interviewed Curtis, it'd just be an hour of him dancing.